Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another UFC breakdown and prediction video. Today, we'll be breaking down UFC Vegas 77, Holm taking on Silva in the main event. What a terrible fight night card this is. I'm pretty sure the first 8 fights, every fighter has either lost or hasn't competed in the UFC. So this card's pretty bad, but from a gambling perspective, it's quite, the lines are pretty nice. You know, you do have some playable money lines on this card compared to last week. Last week I had a terrible betting card, just terrible reads on my side, but let's bounce back and make some money. But before we get into the breakdown video, please like, subscribe, comment some of your best predictions and bets down in the comments below. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the breakdown video. So our first fight of the night, we have Ashlee Evans-Smith taking on Ailin Perez. Ashlee Evans-Smith 1-4 in her last 5. Ailin Perez 3-2 in her last 5. I'm gonna have to go with Ailin Perez in this matchup. There's just too many question marks about Ashlee Evans-Smith, in my opinion. You know, she hasn't fought in 3 years, coming off a USADA suspension, and she's never really looked good in her whole UFC career. I'll be honest. She does have the best wrestling. She does have the best striking, but when she's on top, she does like some ground and pound. But Ailin Perez has good grappling, good wrestling, and just way better on the feet. She's going to be faster, stronger, just a more athletic woman in this fight. So I'm going to have to go with Ailin Perez in this matchup. She's just going to be too much, and I already have a bet on Ailin Perez at -188, 2 units. So our next fight of the night, we have Deaton taking on Alex Munoz. Deaton 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Alex Munoz 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Alex Munoz coming in about a -150 favorite. Deaton about a +120 underdog. I'm gonna have to side with the favorite in this matchup. I think that Alex Munoz just has way more ways to win this matchup. He can implement his wrestling. He can strike with Deaton. Deaton is just not a very threatening fighter whatsoever. He's not really good anywhere. He's just very basic. He just a very basic fighter. Not much power in his hands, but he does have a decent left hook that he's throwing and knocked down some guys with, but that's about it. Nothing really stands out about Deaton, but like Alex Munoz, nothing really stands out about him either. Not the best, most high level fight, but I just think that Alex Munoz will be able to implement more of just a whole like an all-around MMA game with his wrestling, with his striking. So yeah, give me Alex Munoz. He just has way more ways to win this matchup in my opinion. But Deaton, you know, he is a tough guy, hard to get out of there, so I do see this going to the decision. So our next fight tonight is going to be Tyson taking on Azat Maksum. Tyson 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Azat Maksum 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Maksum coming in about a -420 favorite. Tyson about a +320 underdog. I'm going to have to side with Azat Maksum in this matchup. I just feel like Tyson is, you know, 39 years of age. At flyweight, that's never a good sign, and I feel like Azat is going to be just the more ways to win. Tyson not the most active guy in the feet, always looking for that right hand counter, and he can just kind of stand there and do nothing at times. But I think the line is kind of disrespectful to Tyson. You know, he did get club and subbed in his last fight, but you know, Bruno Silva showed many improvements, but Azat, you know, he's got a good 1-2 down the pipe, good kicks, good wrestling, good grappling, and just more ways to win this matchup. So I'm going to have to side with him, but the line is just stupid in my opinion. Tyson has got very good defensive wrestling. I'm pretty sure it's like some of the highest in the flyweight division, so I feel like this could be closer than the odds are saying, but I'm going to have to side with Azat Maksum in this matchup. So our next fight of the night is going to be Evan Elder taking on Genaro Valdez. Evan Elder 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Genaro Valdez 3-2 in his last 5 fights also. He's also coming in about a +230 underdog. Evan Elder a -295 favorite. I'm going to have to side with Evan Elder in this matchup. I think that he's just the better overall striker in this fight. He can also mix in the takedowns as well. You know, Valdez doesn't have the best takedown defense. He can be rocked, and he's not like the best striker I've ever seen, to kind of like a brawler type, throwing loads of hooks, not the best cardio either. I'm just way more impressed with Evan Elder, especially with his last fight against Nazim. You know, he was winning that fight until an unfortunate knee that cut him open that had to stop the fight. So that's a win in my book. That was going to be his win all day. And he has very good cardio, very good power for the type of cardio he has. Like, you would expect him to kind of slow down as the fight goes on, but very good cardio for the amount of power, and, he's got nasty kicks. I just see him being way better and more technical than Genaro Valdez in this fight. So, yeah, give me Evan Elder by second round TKO. I just think he's going to be on another level compared to Genaro Valdez, and like I said, he can also mix it up with the takedowns also, if, he doesn't feel like striking with a dangerous Valdez who's got big power in his hands. So our next fight of the night is going to be Jack Della Maddalena taking on Bassil Hafez. Jack Della Maddalena coming in 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Bassil 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Jack Della Maddalena is coming in about a -625 favourite, and Bassil plus 450 underdog. I'm going to have to side with, what a surprise, JDM in this matchup. I just feel like he's going to have the way better striker. This guy's so clean on the feet, great boxing. He's very good at managing range. And when he does get hit, he seems to have a good chin, good get-up game when he has been taken down. And I don't see Bassil being able to get JDM down in this matchup and kind of control him and look for submissions in this fight. I just think that JDM's going to be on another level compared to Bassil in this fight, and I do understand the price tag on JDM in this one, especially with Bassil coming in on short notice. But the worry that I have about JDM, he's a big 170 pounder and he's having to cut weight again 2 weeks in a row, and that could be a worry. He mightn't look as good as he usually does. So I'm just gonna stay away from this fight. Not even a parlay piece for me. I just don't like it. But I think Jack Della Maddalena will get that first round TKO. So our next fight of the night is going to be Austin Lingo versus Melquizael Costa. Austin Lingo 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Melquizael Costa 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Melquizael Costa coming in about a -195 favourite. Austin Lingo plus 160 underdog. I'm going to have to side with Costa in this matchup. I think that he's just better in every single aspect of MMA here. He can win by submission, he can win by TKO here. Austin Lingo is literally just a boxer with okay takedown defense, but Melquizael has a very forward pressure style, good Muay Thai, and he will take you down from the clinch and really good submission ability on top. So I just feel like he has way more ways to win this matchup, and he's just a more dangerous fighter in my opinion. Austin Lingo does slow down, and Melquizael, he had a tough fight in his UFC debut against Thiago Moises, and he took it on short notice and up a weight class, and he did pretty well in that fight. But I watched tape previously, and he's also just looked way better than Austin Lingo, and I just feel like he's going to be just a more just better rounded mixed martial artist if I can get it out. Jeez. And our next fight of the night is going to be Tucker Lutz taking on Melsik Baghdasaryan. Tucker Lutz 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Melsik Baghdasaryan 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Melsik Baghdasaryan coming in about a -210 favourite. I think it's dropped to -170 now. And Tucker Lutz is a +150 underdog, something around that. I'm going to have to side with Melsik Baghdasaryan in this matchup, but I'm not confident whatsoever. Tucker Lutz does have a good MMA, just a better MMA game. He'll have the grappling advantage, the wrestling advantage, and he's got a good striking as well. But I think that Melsik Baghdasaryan is going to be the more explosive striker. He'll have the better kicks, the more rangier attacks, and just a more overall damaging, criteria striking that I can see him winning this fight with. He did do well against Joshua Kalibau, and I bet on Melsik that fight, and it was such a weird loss. I was so salty after it because he was schooling Kalibau and then slips on a banana peel mid-fight and then gets subbed, which was really funny. But yeah, I just think he's going to be the more rangier striker with the more damaging attacks, and if he gets taken down, it's going to be a worry because he's not the best off his back, but I do see him being able to keep it at range for the most of the fight and out-damage Tucker Lutz from that kind of range with his straight punches, his very fast kicks. And our next fight of the night is going to be Nazim Sadykhov taking on Terrance McKinney. Terrance McKinney 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Sadykhov is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Sadykhov coming in with a -155 favourite. Terrance McKinney coming in with a +125 underdog. I'm going to have to decide. It's such a hard prediction for me, but I'm going to have to side with Nazim in this matchup. I just feel like he's a more technical striker here. You know, he doesn't have the best takedown defense, but he does have a good get-up game. And I do see that being a massive thing in this matchup. And I think that Terrance McKinney is literally just a one-round fighter. And I do see Nazim surviving that round one. But Terrance McKinney is very dangerous. You know, he's got very good rear naked chokes, very good power in his hands. But I just feel like Nazim's going to be too technical for him on the feet. You know, Terrance McKinney kind of got exposed by Bonfim just by not being technical whatsoever. Bonfim was just way more technical than him in his last fight, and it caused him all sorts of problems. And I do see that being similar to this matchup for Nazim. I think Nazim's just going to be way too technical for Terrance McKinney in this matchup on the feet. And our next fight tonight is going to be Ottman Azaitar taking on Francisco Prado. Ottman Azaitar 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Francisco Prado also 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Prado coming in about a -135 favourite. Azaitar about a +110 underdog. Another tough fight. I'm going to have to side with Prado in this matchup. I just think Prado... Ottman Azaitar, if you watch Ottman Azaitar's last fight, he just looked terrible in that last fight. He looked like he lost all testosterone, like no power, very slow. And Prado, like, you know, he did lose his last fight against Malarkey, but he did look somewhat impressive on short notice. You know, he doesn't have the best cardio, but neither does Ottman Azaitar. And Ottman Azaitar just, like I said, looked terrible. I think that Prado's going to have a speed edge, he's going to have a grappling edge, he's going to have I think a power edge as well from what I've seen on Ottman Azaitar's last fight. You know, Ottman Azaitar came off that long layoff and just looked terrible. So I think that Prado will be able to get this fight done inside that first round. You know, Ottman Azaitar, I think I just see this fight playing out. First round finished for either guy. They're both going to be swinging hooks violently, and I just see Prado coming out on top of it, especially with how Ottman looked in his last fight. The next fight tonight is going to be Norma Dumont taking on Chelsea Chandler. Norma Dumont 4-1 in her last 5 fights. Chelsea Chandler 5-0 in her last 5 fights. Norma Dumont coming in about a -150 favourite. I think the line flipped over the past week, and Chelsea Chandler coming in about a +125 underdog. I'm going to have to side with Chelsea Chandler in this matchup. Pretty, you know, on an island here. I think that Chelsea Chandler is going to be the more physically imposing opponent, if that's the word I'm looking for. You know, she will come forward, she's going to be throwing bombs and trying to get you into the clinch and look for takedowns from there, and I do see that working in this matchup. You know, Norma Dumont will have the striking advantage in this matchup, but I just see Chelsea Chandler being too strong, too physically imposing, and just a more, like I said, stronger fighter, and that's going to play a massive factor, especially in women's MMA. You know, Norma Dumont does have some good get-up game and takedown defense, but Chelsea Chandler, you know, she's strong on top, she'll always look for big ground and pound, and she's very powerful on the feet, and I'm pretty sure Norma Dumont got caught by Carol Russa in her last fight, so I could see Chelsea Chandler getting a stoppage in this matchup, but I think she'll win by decision here. And their next fight tonight is going to be Walt Harris taking on Josh Parisian. Walt Harris 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Josh Parisian also 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Walt Harris, I think he's around a -150 favourite, and Josh Parisian's like a +120, 130 underdog. I'm going to have to side with Walt Harris here. I mean, I think he's just much better. He's just so much better than Josh Parisian here. I think they'll get that first round KO, but there is many question marks. You know, he has been off for 2 years. He's on a 3-loss streak, but he's literally fighting the best guys in the world. Look at this: Marcin Tybura, Volkov, and Alistair Overeem. I mean, those are some of the best guys in the heavyweight division, and Josh Parisian is far from that. He's literally fought terrible opponents, beat terrible opponents, literally got dropped by Alan Badeau. You're getting dropped by Alan Badeau, so I'm gonna have to take Walt Harris by KO in that first round. You know, Walt Harris had some pretty good wins in the UFC, got ranked, and I just see Walt Harris putting a hole through Josh Parisian's chest in this matchup by first round KO. And our next fight of the night is going to be Albert Duraev taking on Jun Young Park. Albert Duraev 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Jung Young Park, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Albert Drive plus 130 underdog. Jung Young Park minus 160 favorite in this matchup. I'm gonna have to go with Albert Drive in this matchup. I just don't really understand this line whatsoever. I feel like Albert Drive's gonna have the more powerful strikes to be able to keep this on the feet, and he has the more like variety on the feet, such as leg kicks, body kicks, high kicks, and I just don't see Jun Young Park getting this to the floor, and I don't see the boxing working either. You know, if he can go 3 rounds and do pretty well in the feet against Chidi Njukuyani, if I can speak, Albert Drive, like, he should be fine against Jun Young Park in this matchup. You know, Jun Young Park is a very volume heavy guy, but if you can extend this fight, you might be able to win the 2nd and 3rd round against Albert Drive, but I feel like Albert Drive's a way better fighter here. So yeah, give me Albert Drive plus 160 underdog in this matchup by decision. Our next fight tonight is going to be the main event of the evening. Holm taking on Mayra Bueno Silva. Holm 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Bueno Silva 3-1-1 in her last 5 fights. Bueno Silva coming in about a plus 135 underdog. Holm about a minus 165 favorite. I'm going to have to side with Holm in this matchup. I just think that she's just way better on the feet. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't say that. I'd say that she's going to be on the outside and just going to be picking her shots from the outside and staying safe from the big power shots off Bueno Silva early on, and kind of using the clinch to gaslight Bueno Silva in this matchup. I think the movement's going to be too much for Bueno Silva. Holm stays very safe on the outside and doesn't really commit to anything that will make, will get her countered, and I think that Holm will be able to put this against the cage, maybe look for some takedowns later on in the fight and kind of gaslight Mayra Bueno Silva, who is very, not the best cardio after 2 rounds that I've noticed, and I do see Holm being able to drag this fight on and win the later rounds, like 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, and get a decision win in this matchup. But there you guys have it. There was my UFC Vegas 77 breakdown video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, comment some of your best bets and best predictions in the comments below. But I will see you guys next time. Have a good day. Peace.